The smell of old pine wood hit me the moment I stepped into the hallway. It was faint, but still there, like time itself had been trapped in these walls. The Hayes family home hadn't changed much. The same faded wallpaper. The same ticking clock above the mantel that always ran a minute slow. Only now, I wasn't the girl who used to sneak glances at her reflection in that mirror, hoping to see someone who belonged here.
No.
I belong somewhere else now. My heels clicked softly against the wooden floor as I walked toward the dining room, the same room my father once barred me from. "Sorry, this room's for family only," he had said that day, smirking as he pointed toward the storeroom like he was doing me a favor. I can still hear it. That tone. That casual cruelty that cuts deeper than shouting ever could. And now, years later, I was back. Not as a daughter asking to be seen, but as a woman no one expected to return. My phone buzzed in my bag. Another message from the lawyer reminding me the meeting starts at 5 p.m. sharp. I looked through the window. Autumn leaves swirling across the driveway, my reflection framed against the glass.
Calm. Composed.
Unreadable. The kind of woman my father never believed I could be. I was 17 the last time I lived here. The air felt colder back then, even in summer. Maybe it wasn't the temperature. It was just the way my father looked at me, like I was a stranger wearing my mother's face. It was a Saturday morning. Boxes lined the hallway. My stepmother, Karen, was standing by the door, tapping her perfectly manicured nails against a mug that read, "Blessed and busy." She didn't even look at me when she said, "Your dad and I decided. It's best if Madison has the bigger room now. You can move your things into the storage room for a while." For a while. That phrase still haunts me. It sounded temporary, but I knew it wasn't. When I looked at my father, he just smirked, half shrugging, like it was out of his hands. "Sorry, Liv," he said. "That room's for family only." My hands froze around the handle of my suitcase. Family only. I wanted to ask him what I was then, what my mother's daughter meant to him. But instead, I swallowed it, like I always did. The storeroom was small, smelled of mothballs and dust. My posters wouldn't stick to the cracked walls. And every night, I could hear Madison laughing through the thin plaster, playing music in my old room. One night, I found an old bracelet buried in a box, silver, delicate, engraved with words my mom once whispered to me. "Build your own space, sweetheart. The world will make room for you." I held on to that bracelet like it was oxygen. A week later, I packed my things again. This time not for the storeroom. For good. I didn't slam doors. I didn't cry in front of them. I just walked out quietly, my mother's bracelet around my wrist, my heart pounding so loud I could barely hear my father call after me. "You'll come running back when real life hits you, Olivia." But he was wrong. Real life didn't break me. It built me. When you leave home at 17 with nothing but $180, an old duffel bag, and a bracelet that feels like a promise, you learn fast how heavy independence really is. The first few weeks were brutal. I rented a tiny room above a laundromat in a sleepy town outside Denver. The walls rattled when the machines downstairs spun, and the only thing louder than the noise was the silence in my head. I'd lie awake at night, replaying my father's words. Family only. I worked days at a diner, serving coffee, scrubbing floors, pretending the smell of grease didn't cling to my clothes, and spent nights studying marketing from free online courses. I'd sit by the window, watching headlights blur into streaks, whispering to myself, "Build your own space, Olivia." Just like she said. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy. But it was mine. 2 years later, I landed an internship at a small design firm downtown. My boss, Marianne Cooper, was everything my stepmother wasn't: direct, kind, and fiercely self-made. She saw something in me I hadn't dared to believe in. "People like us don't wait for permission to sit at the table," she said one night, handing me a cup of coffee. "We build our own damn table." Under her guidance, I learned everything: branding, client pitches, even how to negotiate without losing your voice. For the first time, someone believed in me without asking me to shrink. I made mistakes, sure. Missed buses, lost clients, cried in bathroom stalls when the pressure hit too hard. But every setback became fuel. I was hungry. Not for approval, but for proof that I could turn pain into purpose. By 24, I had saved enough to launch my own small agency, Hayes and Company. Creative from a one-bedroom apartment that smelled like fresh paint and ambition. The first year was rough. I survived on instant noodles and caffeine. But then came the first big break, a jewelry brand run by women for women. It felt poetic. Their campaign went viral. One client turned into 10. One late night turned into a business that finally stood tall. I never posted about it. Never flaunted it online. When my father occasionally called, usually after a drink or two, I kept my answers short.
Yeah, Dad.
I'm doing fine. No, not married yet. Work's okay. I didn't owe them my story. Not yet. Because success, I realized, isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about quietly becoming everything they said you couldn't. And so I stayed quiet, building, growing, waiting, until the day came when silence was no longer necessary, because the invitation that brought me back home arrived in a white envelope, embossed with the family crest I once wasn't worthy of. Inside, in Karen's perfectly cursive handwriting, it read, "Family meeting, attendance required." I laughed for a full minute before the ache hit my chest again. Family only. The house looked smaller than I remembered. Maybe it was the years, or maybe I'd just outgrown its walls long before I ever left. I parked my car, a sleek black sedan, the kind of quiet luxury that doesn't need to announce itself, and sat there for a moment, watching the porch light flicker. The autumn air smelled like damp leaves and nostalgia. Through the window, I saw movement. Karen's silhouette gliding across the kitchen. Madison's laughter, still the same sharp, high sound that once bled through my bedroom wall. And my father, sitting at the head of the table, still looking like the man who thought the world bent at his nod. I took a slow breath and stepped out. My heels clicked against the familiar stone path. When I walked in, conversation died mid-sentence. Karen blinked first. "Olivia?" Her voice cracked, part disbelief, part discomfort. I smiled politely. "You asked me to come. Family meeting, right?" Madison glanced at my clothes, tailored cream blazer, silk blouse, the faint shimmer of my mother's bracelet at my wrist. "You look different." "I am," I said simply. Dad cleared his throat. "We weren't sure you'd actually show up." "Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world," I said, taking the empty chair at the table, the same spot I was never allowed to sit in as a teen. The silence that followed was thick enough to cut. Karen finally spoke. "We're going through some financial strain. The company, well, it's not doing as well as your father hoped. The board's bringing in a new investor to restructure things." I leaned back. "Really?" Dad frowned.
Yeah. Some hotshot CEO.
"We don't know much yet, but they're supposed to meet with us today. Should be here any minute." I bit back a smile. The irony was almost cinematic. Right on cue, the sound of a car door echoed from outside. Karen turned toward the window. "That must be them." My phone buzzed. A text popped up from my assistant. "They're expecting you. Everything's ready." I stood. "Actually, I think I can save you the suspense."
Dad looked confused.
"What are you talking about?" I exhaled softly, the air trembling with every memory that brought me to this exact moment. "Dad," I said, meeting his eyes, "I'm the investor." The words landed like thunder in a quiet valley. Karen blinked. "You?" Madison laughed nervously. "Wait, what?" I nodded. "Hayes and Company. Creative acquired your company's marketing branch 6 months ago. My firm now holds majority ownership." For a moment, no one spoke. The clock on the wall ticked loud enough to drown the sound of my heartbeat. Dad's face drained of color. "This is some kind of joke." "Not really," I said, walking toward the mantel. My mother's photo still sat there, half-faded, behind Karen's decorative candle. I moved the candle aside. "Funny how things circle back, huh? You said that room was for family only. Now the family business runs because of me." Karen's lips parted, but no sound came out. Madison just stared, her phone slipping from her hand. I turned back toward them, calm and deliberate. "I didn't come here to gloat. I came here because I'm taking over operations, and I intend to rebuild it. Properly. My father's eyes were wet. Olivia, why didn't you tell me? Would it have mattered? I asked gently. You never wanted to listen when I tried before. He opened his mouth, then shut it. The room felt different now. Smaller, maybe. Or maybe, for the first time, I was the one who filled it. I straightened my blazer, slipping my phone back into my bag. Meeting starts in an hour, I said quietly. Try to be on time this time, Dad. And as I walked past him, I couldn't resist adding, softly but clearly, oh, and don't worry. There's enough room for everyone now, even in the family. The meeting that afternoon was tense. The long oak table gleamed beneath the overhead light, papers neatly stacked, the family crest etched into the center, like a memory I couldn't erase. I sat at the head, where my father used to sit. Now, he occupied the chair beside me, silent, hands folded tightly. Across from him, Karen avoided my eyes, flipping through documents she clearly didn't understand. Madison kept glancing at her phone, pretending not to feel the weight of the moment. I cleared my throat. Let's start. Every gaze turned toward me. For years, I'd imagined this moment, what it would feel like to finally be heard, to be seen. But the satisfaction wasn't in power. It was in peace. I projected the new plans onto the screen. The company is restructuring. And yes, I'm keeping the name Hayes Holdings. But it'll stand for something new: transparency, integrity, growth. Karen's voice cracked. And what about us? I met her gaze. That depends. Her fingers trembled. On what? On whether you're willing to earn your place. Madison scoffed. Earn it? We've been here since the start. I looked at her, calm but firm. No, you've been around since the start. That's not the same thing. If you want to stay, you'll both take management courses full-time. You'll start in junior roles. No titles, no special treatment. You'll learn the work you once dismissed. Karen's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Then I turned to my father. And you, Dad. His head lifted, eyes rimmed with regret. I'm appointing you as a consultant. You'll oversee client relationships, not finances. You'll report directly to me. His lips parted in disbelief. You'd still trust me with that? I nodded slowly. Trust isn't free, Dad. But it can be rebuilt. I'm offering you the chance to earn it if you want to. For the first time, he didn't argue. He just nodded, eyes wet. Karen tried to mask her frustration. You really think you can run this business better than we did? I already am, I said softly. The silence that followed wasn't angry. It was humbled. I leaned forward, folding my hands. Here's the truth. I don't want revenge. I want restoration. This company can be more than a family heirloom. It can be a legacy. But only if we stop pretending it's owed to us. The words hung in the air, like a new law being written. Madison looked down, whispering, What if we can't live up to it? I smiled faintly. Then at least you'll finally understand what it means to try. The meeting ended quietly. No shouting, no bitterness. Just reflection. As I gathered my notes, my father's voice broke the silence. Olivia, he murmured, voice trembling. Your mother would be proud of you. I didn't answer right away. My throat tightened. She always believed I'd make room for myself, I whispered. Guess she was right. 3 months later, the air inside the Hayes building felt different. Lighter, brighter,
Alive.
The walls that once echoed with arguments now hummed with work and quiet collaboration. Karen actually laughed sometimes in meetings, a soft, genuine sound I'd never heard before. Madison started showing initiative, showing up early, asking questions, learning the ropes instead of coasting through them. And my father, he came in every morning at 9 sharp, coffee in hand, dressed neatly, like he had something to prove again. Some days, I caught him standing in my office doorway, watching silently as I worked, his eyes softer than they'd ever been. He didn't say much, but I could feel the unspoken apology in his presence. One Friday evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, he stepped into my office holding a small wooden box. It was your mother's, he said quietly. Inside was a photo, her, me, and him. Before everything changed. Before he forgot what family really meant. She wanted me to give this to you when you were ready, he added, his voice barely above a whisper. I traced my mother's smile with my thumb, feeling that familiar warmth rise in my chest. I think she knew I'd find my way back, I said softly. He nodded, eyes glistening. I'm sorry, Liv. For everything. I looked at him for a long moment. The man who once shut me out of a room now stood before me, smaller, human, flawed, but trying. Forgiveness didn't come like lightning. It came like rain, slow, cleansing, real. I reached out, touched his hand. We can't change the past, I said gently. But we can start acting like family now. He squeezed my hand, tears breaking free. That night, after everyone left, I walked through the quiet halls of the office, the company now mine, the name glowing in silver on the glass doors, Hayes and Company. In the reflection, I saw myself, the woman who had once been banished to storeroom, now standing in a building that bore her name. I unclasped my mother's bracelet and held it up to the light. The engraving caught the sunset's glow. Build your own space, sweetheart. The world will make room for you. A small smile touched my lips. The world didn't just make room. I built an entire world of my own. I turned off the lights, stepped into the evening breeze, and whispered to the wind. He once said there wasn't space for me in the family. Turns out, I just had to create one, where strength, not permission, defines who belongs. And for the first time in years, I finally felt home.